Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Daily Thoughts. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so you are notified of all my new content. Today my Daily Thoughts is on the battle for Target. Why the boycott isn't over. So now, let's get into my Daily Thoughts. So for over a year now, a firestorm has been raging against one of America's biggest retail giants. It was a boycott over Target's decision to roll back its diversity, equity, and inclusion commitments, a move that many saw as betrayal of the promises made after the murder of George Floyd. And a couple of weeks ago, that movement reached a dramatic crossroads. On one side, you had a high-profile pastor in Pastor Jamal Bryant from Atlanta standing at the National Press Club declaring victory and telling the crowd to go back to the store. But on the other side, you have the Minnesota activists who lit the match, led by attorney and activist Nakima Levy Armstrong, firmly stating, "We are not done." So what actually happened? Did Target cave to demands? Did Reverend Jamal Bryant sell out the movement? Or is he right to claim a win? And why are Black Americans refusing to end this boycott? Today, I'm going to break down the fractured state of the Target boycott, the backlash against Jamal Bryant, and why for many, this fight is far from over. Now, to understand this current chaos, we have to rewind back to January 2025. Following President Donald Trump's executive order targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, Target announced it was scaling back its DEI initiatives. And for many, this was a gut punch. This was the same company that just a few years prior had made sweeping commitments to Black communities following the murder of George Floyd in their own backyard of Minneapolis. Immediately, local Minneapolis activists sprang into action. On February 1st, 2025, Nakima Levy Armstrong, along with Jelani Hussein and Monique Collier-Doty, launched a nationwide grassroots boycott of Target. Their demand was simple but firm: reverse the DEI rollback. And then, a few weeks later, a prominent voice joined the fray. Pastor Jamal Bryant, the influential leader of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Georgia, called for a 40-day Target fast during Lent. And while the Minnesota crew was playing the long game, Bryant's movement was framed as a spiritual and economic commitment. And for a year, these parallel tracks ran together. They were effective. Reports suggested that boycott cost Target billions in market value. Their foot traffic dropped, and eventually CEO Brian Cornell stepped down, handing the reins over to Michael Fidelke. And that brings us to March 11, 2026. At a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., Reverend Jamal Bryant stood alongside prominent activist Tamika Mallory and former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner to make a massive announcement. The boycott was over. Bryant framed it as a historical victory. He declared that the Target boycott, the most effective and powerful boycott by Black people since the Montgomery bus boycott. He laid out three specific achievements. First, that Target had fulfilled 97% of its $2 million pledge to invest in Black-owned businesses. Second, that the company had poured millions into scholarships and HBCUs. And third, that Target had launched a new program called Belonging, which he argued functioned exactly like DEI. He said, quote, "We are claiming victory. We've got to celebrate small steps." So what actually was won? Here's where the story gets complicated. When reporters started digging into the details, they found a massive discrepancy. Despite Bryant's celebratory tone, a spokesperson for his organization admitted to USA Today that there were no new commitments and no reversal from Target regarding their DEI policies. Let me repeat that. Target did not reverse his decision to scrap DEI. The belonging program Bryant was celebrating, it was rolled out in January 2025. It was the replacement for DEI, not a restoration of it. So while Bryant was touting financial commitments that were actually made years ago in the wake of 2020, the central demand of the boycott, reversing the 2025 DEI retreat, remains completely unmet. And that is why, just hours after Bryant's press conference in Washington, D.C., a very different scene was unfolding in Minneapolis. Nikema Levi Armstrong, the founder of the Racial Justice Network and the original architect of this boycott, stood outside Target's headquarters and dropped the hammer. She said, quote, "Let's be clear, the Target boycott is not over. This is a grassroots movement led by communities demanding corporate accountability, and we will not stop until Target reverses its retreat from diversity, equity, and inclusion." She was joined by Jelani Hussein, who pointed out the obvious. Target had made not a single concession and had not changed a single policy. The message was clear. Reverend Bryant did not have the authority to end a movement he didn't start. As Levi Armstrong later stated, Bryant was taking credit for a movement built on the blood, sweat, and tears of the people of the state of Minnesota. The backlash on social media was swift and brutal. Black Twitter erupted. One user posted, "The boycott of Target has nothing to do with religion. It's about respect. I'm still not going to Target." Another wrote, "Target would rather spend their marketing budget to launch a media campaign falsely declaring that the boycott is over rather than apologize publicly." Even the women standing behind Bryant at his own press conference, Tamika Mallory and Nina Turner, pushed back. Mallory stated that she personally would not return to Target without a public apology from the CEO to Black employees and customers. Nina Turner echoed that she wasn't going back either. The pressure became so intense that just 2 days later, on March 13th, Reverend Bryant had to walk it back. He issued a public apology acknowledging that he was out of touch with the community's demands. He took to social media to clarify the misinformation, and notably, he emphasized a crucial point. Black women started this movement. He also had to defend his integrity. Rumors were flying that he had been paid off by Target to call off the dogs. Bryant vehemently denied this, insisting he and his colleagues received not a dime. So where does this leave us? We have a divided leadership. On one side, you have Reverend Bryant, who views the $2 billion in outside investments and the belonging framework as a win worth celebrating. He argues we have to claim victory when we see progress, or else the movement loses momentum. And on the other side, you have Nikema Levi Armstrong and the national organizers, and they view this as a matter of principle. If you allow a corporation to abandon their DEI promises to appease a political administration, and you reward them with your business before they fix it, you set a dangerous precedent. They argue that a belonging program without the teeth of DEI accountability is just a rebranding. As of today, the official stance of the National Target Boycott founders is that the movement is very much alive. They have a website, they have a strategy, and they have the backing of consumers who feel personally betrayed by a company they once trusted. This schism reveals a larger truth about modern activism, though. It exposes the tension between national figureheads and local organizers, and it highlights the debate over what constitutes a win. Is it symbolic progress and financial pledges, or it is the hard policy reversals? For the average Black consumer watching this, the choice is now personal. Do you follow the pastor who says the mission is accomplished, or do you stand with the local activists who say the mission hasn't even been acknowledged by the company? One thing for sure, Nakima Levi Armstrong is not bending. As she put it, referring to the thousands who cut up their red cards, they're not going back, I'm not going back. And as long as Target's DEI policies remain in the grave, neither is this boycott. Let me know down in the comments, do you think this boycott should continue, or is it time to declare victory and move on? I hope this has been interesting and helpful to you guys. I, of course, will leave my resources in the description of this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Until then, I offer you peace and blessings from the West Side. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And of course, I would love it if you would go ahead and follow me on all of my other social media. You can find me over on TikTok and Instagram as DC the Purple Diva, over on X as Purple Diva Den, and check out my other YouTube channel, The Purple Diva Den, where I do spoken word. Until then, I'm out, you guys. Peace.